Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome back, dear learners. I welcome you to this course on architectural thesis. My name is Dr. Vishal Chettry and I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Architecture, Planning and Design at IIT Varanasi. So let us now focus on this presentation, which will be on walkthroughs, but before that there will be a recap that will explain you some of the important topics that were covered in the previous presentation. After that, we will look into the specifics of this topic, that is walkthroughs, planning, then planning and scripting, an architectural walkthrough, what is required over there, tools and workflow for creating animated walkthroughs, integration of walkthroughs in juries and digital submissions, tips for an impactful final visual presentation for your walkthrough. Then we will conclude the presentation along with some wrap-up activities, further readings, and also a detail on what will be covered in the next presentation. So to start with the recap that was covered in the previous presentation, we discussed on 3D views, renders and digital simulations, because these are also some of the important elements of your architectural thesis submissions. It helps to visualize spatial form and also enhances the understanding of design. 3D perspectives communicate depth and spatial relationships effectively. Rendering tools like SketchUp, Lumion and Enscape helps you create realistic and architectural visuals. It also helps you to contextualize 3D views with materials like people, landscape, and it adds realism in your project. Simulating real life environment will help you assess the design response to climate and surroundings. So here in this presentation, now let us focus on walkthroughs and final visual presentation. So before we proceed further, let us understand what is actually a walkthrough. So a walkthrough is a 3D animated simulation or visualization that allows viewers to walk through an architectural design. So that means when you enter a space, so what is that movement pattern when you enter a structure, what all you see in your surroundings, and how does the space that you have designed will appear to the user. So that will be understood through walkthrough. So that is why walkthrough provides you a real life experience inside the structure or in and around the structure. But in your 3D views, it is just an image of the structure with three-dimensional with the third dimensional feature that is incorporated over, that is the height. Also, that is when you see the x-axis, the y-axis, and as well as the z-axis of the structure. So that is what is present in your 3D view. But when you try to move around the structure, see all the different parts or enter inside the structure and visualize the spaces that you have designed, so for that walkthroughs or that kind of videos are required. It is basically an animated movement through your structure. So walkthroughs helps in conveying the spatial experience, a material that you have used, scale of the structure, and the ambience of a space that static renders cannot achieve. So generally renders or the 3D views are just a snapshot of the structure, though it has elements which will help the user to understand the structure, but then walkthroughs will provide you much more rich experience compared to 3D views. Walkthroughs are a powerful medium in architecture to communicate with the design. So if you have entered and if you have seen all these features. So this is what may look like in your 3D view, but the continuous movement inside the structure, and then standing here from this corner and then looking into the other face, the other side of the interior spaces. So that kind of experience won't be possible in your 3D view, although you can create multiple snaps or multiple images of 3D structure and then present it in your presentation, but how many will you take such images? So there is a restriction, or there is a certain number of images that you can bring in your architectural submission. But then if you add walkthroughs, so there is no such restriction. You can pan yourself, or you can move inside the structure or in and around the structure and see all the different faces of the structure or all different parts of the structure very clearly. So the role of walkthrough is to provide some kind of narrative tool to add a dynamic experience to the project. It elevates the design process. It offers a holistic view that connects space, form, function as well as the context. It enhances the decision making for both designers and clients by exploring aspects like circulation, lighting, texture as well as the atmosphere. They make the design come to life, showing how people will interact with the environment. So all this is possible through walkthroughs. So the next important aspect regarding walkthrough to focus is about planning and scripting an architectural walkthrough. Because why is it important? Because generally in walkthroughs what happens is that we walk inside the structure, that is the movement. As we move inside the structure, the entire view that we are able to capture through during the movement is actually captured in your walkthrough videos. So there you have to now plan strategically that where you want to move and in which direction you want to pan, so that the details about the design is visible in that video. So these all has to be understood. So scripting is necessary because as you move, you have to also talk about those features, add music and all those features into your design. So that is why scripting is also essential, that which part of the structure you want to showcase first, how you will move on to the next space, and from there how you will which space has to connect after that. So likewise all this planning and scripting of walkthrough videos are essential. So it generally this is required because it provides a clear understanding of the design, because it is a key feature. It is effective planning and scripting are key to create a compelling walkthrough. This stage involves storytelling as well as the technical presentation of the design that you have done. So before we proceed into the planning and scripting, it is very essential for any person to understand the design in detail. You have to understand the detail of the particular design, because unless you are very well versed with the features that you have that the design has incorporated, you won't be able to prepare an effective walkthrough to showcase all the details of the project. So that is why one has to fully understand the design before you start preparing the walkthrough videos. So study architectural floor plans, sections and elevations, and identify the key features that are present in your design that will define the experience, such as focal point, arrival sequences and the major spaces. Because in walkthrough videos all these important features has to be showcased, or else there is no point of creating the walkthrough. Consider how people will navigate through the building and how they will experience the different areas of the structure. So that is has to be fully understood before you start preparing the walkthrough. Then understanding the design is also essential, because it helps you to identify critical moments in design where the narrative can slow down and focus on specific details. These moments may include entrance sequences, transitions between spaces, signature features, and some unique design elements. So these all has to be marked. So when you start preparing a walkthrough, it may look something like this, that the place where you will pause and you will view will be marked, and then the movement pattern will be decided. How you are moving from one place to another, that also has to be showcased in detail. You cannot just cross the wall and then enter the other space directly. So you have to always follow the corridor, enter through the door and then come out, or else it will look highly animated, and if it gives that kind of perception, then the person will not be able to relate with the walkthrough videos in a better way. So establishing the narrative flow, think of the walkthrough as a story. You should have a beginning, middle and end. So from where are you entering the structure, what different features are you trying to will you showcase in your entrance, then which space has to be detailed out through the video, then where you have to pause and go for a simple walk, then where you have to speed up. So if it is a normal corridor, so then possibly there you may not spend too much of time by just showing each and every detail. You can quickly pass on the corridor, then showcase the other details. So that also is done. Begin at the main entry point or a significant threshold and explore how spaces unfold in a logical progression. So that is important to be followed. Then next is establishing the narrative flow, that is the pacing of the walkthrough is essential. Some sections may want slow exploration because there are too many features to observe, so you have to slowly pan the camera in that particular room, and then while other regularly or common spaces like corridor or a space which is like storeroom or can be a simple corridor spaces or staircase lobby, so possibly there the much details are not required, so you can quickly pass on those spaces and just focus on a specific rooms only. So large open spaces or public areas may transition more quickly, while intimate spaces like atriums or private rooms may need more time to breathe, because that is how we also move inside the structure. Usually in a corridor we don't spend much of time, we quickly enter the room and then try to visualize what all things are present in and around. So that is what is important, that is what has to be thought of when you start preparing the walkthrough videos. So writing a script, when scripting the walkthrough, plan the camera movement, lighting and key focus area, identify important design moments to highlight and plan where the camera will move. For example, when showcasing a signature stairway that you have designed as shown here in the image, you may have to program certain pauses and slow the pan of the camera to emphasize these elements. So you have to just take some step, then see above or see behind, and then showcase the design element, or then showcase how does this entire staircase enhances the design of this space. So all this has to be focused in your design. Writing a script, lighting plays a crucial role in setting the mood, so that is why it is very essential to focus on lighting. So at what stage or at what time of day does this walkthrough represent, so based on that the lighting conditions have to be adjusted accordingly. So decide on the time of the day to represent, as natural light changes throughout the day and it can drastically alter the perception of the space. So that thing has to be kept in mind. Showcase the building at night and artificial lighting to give a full realistic representation of how it will feel at different hours. So there are some tools and workflow for creating an animated walkthrough. So what are these features? Like it creates high quality architectural walkthroughs, or specialized software and tools are required. So each tool offers certain advantages depending on its need, whether it's quick concept exploration or detailed building information modeling or real-time interactive experience. So based on that, certain tools are utilized accordingly. So the first and easy to work software is SketchUp. So this is an ideal tool for quick conceptual 3D model. When paired with plugins like V-Ray, it produces highly photorealistic walkthrough animations can be created, and it is one of the commonly used software to prepare walkthroughs. The next is Autodesk Revit, because you have already prepared your model over there, so you can use the same feature, just position the camera accordingly and then start creating the video in Autodesk Revit. So it integrates Revit with real-time rendering tools like Lumion or Enscape is integrated into your software, and then you are able to produce some walkthroughs through the software. Then the other examples is Rhino is excellent for complex geometries and parametric designs. It's often used when the design involves intricate or non-rectilinear forms. Blender, it is also ideal for animation and rendering. It allows to create complex walkthroughs animations with advanced visual effects. Also, it offers high degree of control over materials, lighting and the camera movement. So the workflow that is essential when you prepare when you start preparing the walkthrough is that it creates a high quality architectural walkthrough. It is only possible when you follow a proper process. For example, it starts with modeling the space, then you define the camera path and animation, setting up the lighting, then then the process for rendering, which type of rendering is adopted, then the post production, that is video editing with some background music. All these are to be considered. So walkthroughs are an excellent addition to jury presentation because they allow for immersive storytelling. So at times your drawings may not communicate the story, but the walkthroughs may easily communicate those ideas through the videos. So a walkthrough enables the jury to experience the design in real time, providing a clear understanding of certain spaces or certain features that you have incorporated in your design. Walkthroughs offer the flexibility to zoom in on specific details or demonstrate how the design adapts to different lighting conditions. It also emphasizes key design elements that needs to be highlighted, such as the materials that are used or special transition spaces or unique architectural features that are installed. So all these are possible if you set up your camera and position the movement accordingly. So there are some tips how you can make your walkthroughs much better. So clarity and precision is first. To ensure that the clarity and precision is present, you can ensure that the visual language is clear and it is very concise. The goal is to convey that the overall feel of the space to the user and not to display every minor element. So that also has to be focused. So if there is any wall hanging, if there is any feature in your wall which is not much significant, so possibly those features can be avoided when you prepare the walkthroughs, and just pan the camera and show how it looks like with reference to the spaces and furniture layout that has been done. Cohesive storytelling has to be followed. The walkthrough should flow naturally from one space to another. Ensure that the transition between different parts of space feel logical and also seems purposeful. Lighting and atmosphere is another important element. Lighting is not just about visibility, that you are able to see the different elements, it also sets the mood. So based on that, you have to choose the lighting accordingly. Use lighting creatively to evoke different atmosphere for various spaces in the walkthrough. So for example, if you have designed a classroom, but then you are using dim lights over there, so possibly there the classroom won't be looked appealing in your video, or it may not provide certain details that are supposed to be seen in your video. So that is why lighting enhances, or it may create a very poor presentation. So that is why you have to be very thoughtful when you think of lighting in your model. Sound and music, incorporating subtle music or background is essential, and you may also voice over or provide some details in your video wherever you think some explanation is required in video. However, avoid overwhelming the visuals by adding too much loud sound that overpowers the entire video. So at times if you are showcasing your design which is related to a resort, and then you are playing some very heavy music in background, so possibly there would be a mismatch between the two features. So that is also a matter of concern, that what type of music and how much of voiceover are you adding in your video. So now to conclude this presentation about the walkthroughs, we have understood that architectural walkthroughs demonstrate design that intent by simulating movement through the space, offering an immersive experience of the project to its users or to clients. Careful planning and scripting the structure through the walkthrough is essential, so that it highlights key areas, flow and the spatial relationships very effectively. Also specialized tools and workflows have to be used, so that smooth creation and realistic quality of animated walkthrough is possible. Integrating walkthroughs into digital submission is essential to enhance the communication, helping examiners to visualize the design beyond the static 3D images. An impactful final visual presentation combines cohesive visuals. There has to be visuals, some clear narration to specific features, and strategic pacing of the camera in your videos to engage viewers and reinforce the design concept. So these are some activities that can be completed at the end of this presentation. It generally you can think of describing your project in 60-second walkthrough. So what details are you going to showcase, that also you can think of, and then prepare the script. Which spaces should appear first in walkthrough, like entry, living, or just the main highlight, that you have to decide, and then you can prepare your walkthrough. How can narration or background music change the impact of walkthrough? Just try to experiment this with different types of music with one simple project, and then see which type of music is basically best suited for your project. So that is what you can do, and then understand more about the learnings of this presentation. So these are some resources that you can refer for the understanding about the topic that is covered. Then in our next presentation, we will focus on the details about thesis report, because that is one of the important criteria for your thesis submission, and how does the chapterization of report has to be done, what are the important chapters in your report, and how the details are to be entered in each of the chapters will be explored. So core sections, how it is written, that will also be discussed in the next series of presentation, explaining the methodology and analysis, how it is to be written in your report, showcasing the design development, because you also have to add some of your design sheets in your report. So how it is to be done, that will be covered. So also report doesn't mean only filled with text, it should be complemented with some visuals and some text in between. So how this combination of images with the report writing is to be done, that will be explained. And then finalizing the report, what are different mechanisms that can be adopted, so that your report can be finalized with minimum error or mistakes within it. So all these will be explored, and the next series of presentation will be exclusively based on the report writing process. So with this, I'd like to conclude my presentation, and like to thank you for your patience listening.